Well, first of all, a very warm welcome on this recording of the Axway session. What is next now that your organization created a significant set of APIs? My name is Rogier from Boxtel and I'm running pre-sales in Benelux Nordics DACH at Axway. Just as a very quick introduction, I don't want to spend too much time about this, but still a very quick introduction on Axway. We are a software company founded in the 90s in France. Today, we are with almost 1,500 people working globally, creating around 320 million in revenue. And we are delivering integration oriented software solutions for file management, for classic B2B integration, and clearly, and that's the reason why we're here today, of course, for API management. And if you want to know anything more about Axway, feel free to look at axway.com. Um, just to get started in this presentation, I want to set the scene a little bit of what we see today happening. So most large organizations around the globe, they have created a significant set of APIs, some hundreds of APIs, some thousands. We had some customers that were even talking about over 100,000 APIs for really large energy providers in, for example, Europe. So that's a significant set of APIs. The second thing that we see at those larger organizations is that they are using several different API gateways and other integration platforms to secure these APIs. So some classic security gateway for on-prem applications. Quite often that's Axway, but there's a couple of other solutions, of course, as well. There's cloud gateways that are being heavily used, AWS, Azure, GCS, to kind of secure the APIs that are a result of the often based service mesh type development activities in those platforms. Maybe they have some solutions for other service mesh platforms. And what we see more and more often is Kafka, Solace type event management platforms that, of course, create event-driven APIs. A third topic that we see quite often is APIs are delivered by a large set of DevOps teams. I still remember talking to a bank in the Netherlands. They had over 400 development teams that, as part of their application development activities, created these APIs. So there's a wide variety of teams that are creating APIs more as a core activity or as part of other activities. And then finally, a key topic that we see is that the usage differs. Some APIs are heavily used, but the reality also is that most of these APIs are not that heavily used. So they're basically created for a specific purpose and then reused only for that specific purpose. So that is kind of a short summary of a state that we see in a lot of industries. I have to admit that the financial services industry, and especially banks, of course, due to regulations like PSD2 in Europe, are slightly more advanced often. But for all other industries, from government, energy, high-tech industry, low-tech industry, all those kind of market segments are this is probably a situation, a high level summary of where they are today. So what we see is they have done significant investments because, let's be fair, those APIs are not created for free. And the value that they get out of it, whether that's in euros or in dollar or in customer or business partner satisfaction or internal developer productivity or any other measure that you can put on that value, the value is limited. I think that's a fair statement to make. Yes, there is value. Yes, there are APIs that are being heavily used or heavily reused. So they definitely create value, but on average, there's a huge amount of APIs being created, and the reuse and the value they create is not that great. I think that is a good summary. So what's next? That was kind of the title of this presentation, and that's what I like to explain, and at least our vision on that. Of course, uh, the the key topic is to add a reuse to your standard way of working. So not only focus on creating and securing APIs, just to be clear, that remains really, really important, but it's not the only thing. The third topic that needs to be added to the story is reuse, is offering APIs. And uh, not probably easy to understand is what do you need if you want to push for reuse, if you want to offer those APIs. You first of all need an overview of all APIs created. That's what we call a service registry. In the past, we also used the name Unified Catalog that I personally quite liked. So it's basically a full overview of all APIs delivered by any team using any gateway or integration platform technology. The second topic that is really, really important as soon as you have such a full overview is to focus on quality assurance. Um, that can be done in an automated way, of course, using technologies like Stoplight, but it can also be done manually or should also be done manually by specific and real integration experts that only focus on integration. Okay, so that's the second topic. Once we are sure that the APIs that we have in our catalog are at the right quality level, we can start to create what we call API products. And more often in the market, that is the name. So those thousands of APIs often are fine grained, are very specific solutions for a very specific problem, which are not always meaningful for, especially for external consumers, API consumers. So instead of knowing if I want to open a bank account, for example, I need to go to CRM system one and then to CRM system two. No, that's not what you can ask your external developers to understand. They simply want the open a bank account API. So that's combining APIs into meaningful products. And then finally, what we believe is really, really important before you can start to offer your APIs to internal or external developers is monetization features. At least you need to have the possibility for some of your APIs, probably not all of them, but for some of them to monetize them. And then, as I said, if you have your API products, free or paid API products, then you should push them to a brandable marketplace or a developer portal that shows all APIs and all API products, no matter which gateway delivers them or no matter which team delivers them. That's not relevant for your consumers, whether they're internal or external, to know. They simply want to understand what does this API offer, what are the security measures that are needed to comply to, what information do I need to deliver, what do I get back, all those kind of information is what you're really looking for. Um, and that's where Axway comes into play. So for this is our complete API management offering. So we have offerings around creating APIs, around securing APIs with our gateway products. But today I really want to focus on that third step. So let's assume for a second that as many, many organizations have, that you have your APIs, can offer them in some kind of secured way using an integration, a gateway platform, and what's next. So the first topic that we believe is really, really important is to create on top of the data planes, the different gateways that you have in use, that you have a central management plane. So what we created, Axway created this central management plane called the Amplify Enterprise Marketplace. And we are able, with that central management plane, through agents, through software agents, we're able to connect to any data plane that you are using today, whether that's an Axway gateway, Azure, AWS, Kafka, IBM, Kong, Layer 7, all those solutions can be integrated in that central management plane using agents. So what we do, any API that is created in any of those data planes is being discovered automatically, fully automatically by that agent that I was describing. So that's what first happened. So the description of the API, the definition file, the WSDL, the other definition file, that is all being uploaded into that central management plane through an agent, and that agent is using the product APIs of that data plane solution. So of AWS API Gateway or IBM Connect API Gateway. And then after that, we are starting to create, as I described, the service registry to start with. So that's basically a list, nothing more and nothing less of a list of all services that were made available by any of the gateways and on which you can do your quality assurance. So in our solution, there is a standard quality rating rule sets are available, and you can extend them, and then you can score the discovered services from A to F, whether or not they comply to your security rule sets, to your technical rule sets, to your maybe other rule sets that you like to apply. And then based on that score, you can decide what you want to do, whether or not the developer needs to add additional security or whether or not that is acceptable for you to continue. Then after that, based on those discovered services, we are kind of creating API products in two steps. The first step is creating assets. Those are logically combined individual, small, fine-grained APIs, and we're creating assets out of them. And then in the second step, we are creating products out of one or more assets. And then finally, those products can be monetized, as I said. So you have the opportunity to add a free price plan. That's perfectly okay. Or you can add a price tag, and price tags can be different, of course. You can have a fixed fee per month, but you can also really do pay per use. So per transaction, you pay, for example, 1 euro cent for an API call. So all those possibilities are available to you. Um, After that, of course, a key step is that you can include those API products that you just created into multiple customized marketplaces. And I say multiple because quite a lot of organizations have several brands or several divisions, and they might want to have marketplaces. And as I said, this is a single set of APIs for the entire organization. You might now decide that, for example, your retail in finance, your consumer banking contains a subset of APIs. Your business banking might contain some of the same APIs, but also some additional APIs. Maybe your insurance business is a different set of APIs. So then, depending on what you want to do, you can create multiple customized marketplaces, and they can have the look and feel as you see, for example, on this screen. So this is really on let's say a category view, so a really high level view, in this case of Amplified Finance, which is a sample financial institute. And then you can go into a lot more detail. So these are individual API products that you see down here. For example, real-time payment, interest rates, those kind of services is what you can display. And then finally, you can also, of course, browse to, let's say, categories. So payments, financial data exchange, open data, account, all kind of account information. So there's different ways how you can kind of look at, in this case, the Amplified Finance marketplace from a product perspective, from a category perspective, from an overview perspective. That's all possible. So in summary, what we are doing with offering APIs, the pushing for reuse, which once again is intended at those customers that created a set of APIs using multiple integration technologies. What we offer for them is a unified centralized management plane. That's really, really important. That is filled in a fully automatic way using agents from all underlying integration platforms and gateway platforms. Um, it contains the possibility to organize your governance in a centralized way, while the development of the APIs, of course, stays local if you would like to do that. Um, and then the linting capabilities, the quality assurance capabilities are part of the platform as well. Then a third key topic is that we can create multiple marketplaces for different audiences based on that single set of services that we discovered and that single set of API products that you created based on those services that we discovered. And then finally, monetization, of course, a highly discussed topic in the industry today. A lot of organizations are starting to monetize in some way the digital products that they are offering or planning to do that. And our platform contains full set of capabilities to create monetization plans and to ask some of your consumers for specific services to pay for the services they're using. So once again, this is the marketplace is our offering solution, the Axway Amplify Enterprise Marketplace, and it comes on top of our integration capabilities and our gateway capabilities that we offer to the market for many, many years. Thanks a lot for watching this recording. Really, really appreciate it. If you like to understand and get more details about Axway and our solutions, feel free to move to surf to axway.com. And then thanks a lot. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye bye.